We're just going to do a quick recap of some of the numbers and mostly the updates from Q3 earnings so far. So lightning round really quickly here. Riot raked in $180.2 million in revenue for Q3, and it also announced that it has begun breaking ground on a 112 megawatt revamp of its Corsicana facility for critical IT capacity. Hopping over to Marathon. Marathon announces Q3 2025 revenue of $252.4 million, up 92% from last year, and had a mix of announcements regarding AI and HPC. Apparently, they signed a letter of intent with MPLX, a midstream oil and gas service, to supply 400 megawatts for data centers in West Texas. Who knows? Maybe that'll be used for AI and HPC, perhaps. We'll have more updates from that on the Mining Pod next week, actually, with Mara CEO Fred Thiel. So stay tuned for that. Going on to Hut 8, Hut 8 reported $83.5 million in revenue last quarter and had big updates on a roughly 1.5 gigawatt pipeline that it is developing across 4 sites across 3 U.S. states, a 1,000 megawatt site in Texas, 1 gigawatt, 300 megawatt site in River Bend, Louisiana, 180 megawatt site in Texas, and then another 50 megawatt site in Illinois. And to wrap it up, we also have Cypher Mining reporting $72 million for last quarter. And we already spent some time talking about some of their most exciting updates, so we won't bore y'all with that.
Yeah, I mean, so we already talked about Cypher. Riot, I always think it's neat still working with grid operators, getting power credits in that way. Broke ground at the Corsicana site, right? So significant piece of bit there. Marathon, who knows what they're going to do with these data campuses, but the letter of it and the LOI, right, with MPLX, I think was kind of took the headline for me there. Also, just, they have so much Bitcoin on their balance sheet, right? So crazy, like 50,000 coins. Right? It's just a massive amount of Bitcoin. And then Hut 8. Yeah, Hut 8 is, I think, pretty interesting. They spun out American Bitcoin, but you kind of get a sense that they're probably pretty well connected because they, have those types of relationships. They're still going after kind of vertically integrating and having data centers and compute and energy assets. So, curious to see if, they can hook some kind of deal at some point, similar to these, the kind of big ones that we talked about at the top of the show. That's kind of what stood out to me.
Yeah, and some of these are trading like they think deals are coming down the pipe. I think Hut 8 is one of those. Cypher was clearly one of those before these most recent deals came out. Same with Iron, honestly. It didn't make sense for Iron to be trading at the valuation it was just based on its NeoCloud compute. But now with this Microsoft deal and some of the deals we've seen previously, it makes total sense. We will move on to the next story, and we will have more Q3 recaps as these miners announce them. Check out our YouTube for live streams of the Q3 earnings calls. We'll have more coming up throughout the month as they trickle through as well. So quick note on this one. I don't want to belabor the story too much because I don't know how true it is. But at Core Scientific, a man who claims to have been working on a Core Scientific site is opening a lawsuit against Core Scientific, OpenAI, at all. I mean, there are a lot of people named in this lawsuit. I won't name all the companies involved. You can go check out this article on Blockspace, though, and you can see it for yourself. But this hit the wire at the end of last week. This man named Joseph Soroka is bringing case against multiple corporate defendants, so include Core Scientific and CoreWeave, OpenAI, etc. Allegedly, he was working at a facility located on Gem Crystal Road in Denton. Soroka alleges that one or more high voltage transformers catastrophically failed while being energized, creating an explosion that sent burning oil into the air, causing second and third degree burns across his body. He is seeking monetary relief over $1 million for alleged, quote, life-altering injuries, including severe burns, physical impairment, disfigurement, and long-term disability. So all the caveats, allegedly, this is a court case. No idea what's going to happen. We have to figure out what happened and then figure out what the ruling is going to be, but we'll be keeping an eye on this. All that said, just a crazy lawsuit that involves OpenAI, I assume because OpenAI is using CoreWeave computers at the Denton facility. I think that's really the most interesting part of this. I mean, I hope Soroka, I hope he recovers, assuming he sustained the damage that he's saying he did. But the interesting thing here from a business perspective is this may hint that OpenAI is contracting CoreWeave compute that is hosted at one of Core Scientific's facilities.